What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you an update to Invoked, but this time it's going to be Magistus Invoked. So Magistus actually got loads of new support, and if it wasn't a highlight on how Alistar and Magistus go together, this card right here, Invoked Magistus Omega, kind of shows you everything you need to know. Now, as a disclaimer, this does not involve any Shadow cards whatsoever. I've tried to keep it directly Magistus Invoked. The focus is on the Magistus. The Invoked is a supporting factor of the deck as well, and it just kind of gives you a bit more of a breakdown and understanding of what this deck currently looks like, especially when we've got more Invoked support already confirmed coming out in the future. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. Diving headfirst into the profile, we're going to be starting off with our Magistus cards being the most recent card for the Magistus themselves, and that is going to be free Spenta the Magistus Sealer. So this card lets you discard it and then activate one of the following effects. Add a Magistus monster from the deck to the hand except itself, or halve the attack of one monster your opponent controls until the end of the turn. You get to banish this card from the graveyard to target a face-up monster you control, equip a Magistus monster from your extra deck or graveyard to it as an equipped spell. Now, for those of you that are new to Magistus, the way that they all work is their extra deck monsters, when they are equipped to different monsters, will provide different effects. So there's a lot of ways that you can either equip directly from the extra deck, there's ways that you banish from the graveyard to do that, and everything else in between. So that's when you're going to start to see the secondary effects of some of the cards like Artemis that you might not have known before. Then we do play free Zorora, the Magistus of Flame. See, this one lets you target a Magistus monster you control and equip it with a Magistus monster directly from the extra deck. If it becomes equipped with a Magistus monster, you get to special on a level 4 spellcaster from the hand or grave in defense edition, except itself, and its effects are negated. Now, unfortunately, that won't get you access to Alistar the Invoker. The idea is that you want to be able to try and use either additional summons or you want to be able to use special summons to get you access to cards like Zorora, because you do ideally want your Alistar the Invoker to be one of your main normal summons, as that unlocks the whole Invoked plays, but there are ways to be able to loop back cards like the Magistus monsters should you need to. For the final three of the Magistus, we're on three of the Renoa, the Magistus of Vir. So this card is normal or special. You get to activate one of the following effects. Add a Magistus spell or trap from the deck to the hand, or return one of your banished level 4 or lower spellcasters in the graveyard. You can banish this card from the graveyard to then target a Magistus monster you control and equip it with a Magistus from the grave, except a level 4 monster. So that's how you're going to be able to equip from the graveyard your other additional like link monsters once they go there as well. Then, someone that might look a little bit familiar to you, we're playing one Crowley the Gifted Magistus and one Crowley the Magistus of Grimoires. So with your Gifted Magistus, if this face-up card is used as fusion material, its name becomes Alistar the Invoker. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you get to special summon it. And if it is normal or special except during a damage step, you get to fusion summon a Magistus or Invoked fusion monster from the extra deck, using monster from the hand or field. And then the Crowley, the Magistus of Grimoires, lets you send a spellcaster monster from your hand or face-up field to the grave to special summon this card. You can declare one attribute. This card becomes that attribute until the end of the turn. Banish it from the graveyard to target a Magistus you control and equip it with a Magistus monster from your graveyard, except a level 4. You can only use each effect once per turn. Carrying on with the Magistus cards, we're on 3 Vir Magic Lacrima of Light. Now this is always treated as a Magistus and Witchcrafter card, which is why it is always going to be utilised as a Magistus card. So you activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. If you control a Magistus or a Witchcrafter monster, send a Spellcaster monster or a spell from the deck to the graveyard. When your opponent activates a card or effect, special summon a Magistus or Witchcrafter monster from the hand or deck. So this is how you're going to be able to utilize getting access to other Magistus monsters directly from the deck. So if you were to go normal summon, for example, go normal summon Alistar the Invoker, and your opponent wanted to negate it, which is one of the biggest bait points since the day of Yugioh, because normal summon Alistar, it kind of just screams for being impermed, ashed, veiled, purged, you name it. You would then be able to utilize this one in response to then get you access to cards like Zorora. You can get access to cards to like Vir, and it can all still be very, very useful for you. We're then on one Magistus Vitar and one Invocation. So the Vitar lets you target a level 4 or lower Magistus in the grave and special summon it. And if a Magistus card in your spell and trap zone would be destroyed by your opponent's card, you get to banish it instead. And then fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monster from the hand or field as material, including a spellcaster. If you're summoning a Magistus fusion monster this way, you can also use monsters in your spell and trap zones that are equipped to Magistus monsters. This is actually really important because when we initially got this, the only Magistus fusion monsters we could really go into was the Awais. Now we can actually go into the Zoroark, the Magistus, and we can also go into the Invoked Magistus Omega if we wanted to. Then we move on to the all-important Invoked package. So you're going to be playing 3 Alistair the Invoker, backed up by 3 Magical Meltdown. You could play 2 Magical Meltdown and 1 Terraforming if you want to. And then we have 2 Invocations. Just being able to fusion summon using your graveyard and your opponent's graveyard can be like invaluable. It's insane. Then for the non-engine of the deck, we've got 3 Mulchomi Fualos, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 Ghost Spell, and 2 Droll Lockbird. Now, this is where your space can start to be opened up, that if you wanted to take away Droll Lockbird and the Ghost Spells, these could very easily become 4 Shaddoll names. And then you wouldn't really take away your Fualoses or your Ashes, but you'd start to open up the space of the Forbidden Droplets to become your Shaddoll Fusions. But that's entirely up to you. I did decide to go for a 6-card breaker route in the form of Droplet and Super Polymerization. Again, entirely up to you on this one. You can flex out the Forbidden Droplet to even more hand interactions if you wanted to, or any other type of breaker if you needed to. You can consider stuff like the Fall and the Virtuous could also be quite a good one, but I feel that Forbidden Droplet is one of them cards that's going to put in a lot of work this format, especially with Cool Tunes running around, and then maybe even any Across that could cause issues. Moving on to the extra deck. So for the Invoked monsters, we do play 2 Invoked Macabre. This is the good old-fashioned classic Alistair monster you want to go into, as this one will let you negate a card effect on the field and banish it, or a card effect in general, and banish it, but you need to discard a card of the corresponding type. So if they activate a trap, discard a trap, spell, spell, monster, monster. Then got the 1 Purgatrio. I just like Purgatrio. I think it looks one of the creepiest, which is really cool. But it's also one of the strongest because this one gains piercing battle damage, it gains attack stats, and then it also gets to attack all your opponent's monsters once each. So just being able to get to Purgatrio using your opponent's Ash Blossom or even your Ash Blossom, and then you look at the other Magistus cards that are also fire as well, like your Zoroark, you can actually just go, cool, clear, 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 and then attack directly with the rest of the monsters you have on the field. So Purgatrio can actually be a massive game winner, and I think it's really worth using. Another one that could be a game winner in a slower state is the Invoked Kaliga. So this card only lets your opponent activate, and you can only attack with 1 monster and can only activate 1 monster effect per turn. So it really does slow the game state down. It does mean that your hand interactions are going to be less effective, as that will count as your 1 effect. But if you're pretty much setting up a Kaliga plus your Macabre, like just these 2 in tandem can be enough to win the game, because your opponent needs to normal summon a card that is more than 1,800 attack. 1,800 defense. You could also use the Alistair in the hand as its hand interaction option to give one of your fusion monsters plus 1,000, which doesn't just include Invoke monsters, by the way, it includes all fusion monsters that you have. So you can drop it on any of your fusion monsters, even a Winder in a Shaddoll one, and make Winder stronger than it needs to be. Then the bridge that is between the Invoked and the Magistus in the form of the Invoked Magistus Omega. Now, this card just looks incredible, but it requires Alistair the Evoker and then a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link. If it is special summoned, you get to target a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster in your grave and 1 monster on the field. You banish them. If this Fusion Summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to special summon a level 4 spellcaster from the deck. Then you can equip this card to it as an equip spell that gives it 1,000 attack. Only use each effect once per turn. So ultimately, you don't need to play this card, but it kind of feels like it belongs in this version of the deck, which is why it's here. Moving on to the rest of the Magistus cards as well. We play the 1 Zoroark, the Magistus, and the 1 Awais. Now, Awais is probably going to be more so than anything used as the equip target, because as the equip target, it then gives you the ability to do loads more things. So while it's quite as a quick card, the equip monster gains 1,000 attack and defense. During the main phase, quick effect, you get to target one other face-up monster on the field, equip this card you control to it, and if it was equipped to an opponent's monster by this effect, you take control of it. It cannot activate its effect, so it's a really nice kind of snatch steal and technical effect negation sometimes as well. Your Zoroark is obviously going to be your negation. This lets you target an effect monster in your grave or your opponent controls and equip that effect monster, target an effect monster in your graveyard or your opponent controls. Equip that effect monster to this card. When a monster effect is activated, quick effect, you get to send a face-up Magistus monster card you control to the grave, negate the effect, and then destroy a card your opponent controls. So, negation and destruction. Got the 1 Magistus Torozo. You can use it as a Super Polymerization target, but you can obviously just fusion summon it normally anyway as well. And then when a monster declares an attack, you get to target it, negate its attack, and then this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack until the end of the turn. And then on declaration, when a monster declares an attack, You negate it, and you can also get to return to the hand as well. You get to return that monster to the hand. The final fusion monsters we play are just generic super body targets in the form of Garura and Muddragon. Not much more needs to be said about that. And then for the rest of the Magistus extra deck monsters, we're on 1 Zorora, the Magistus Confligent Calamity. So this one is made with Zorora because Zorora is the tuner of the deck. And then if this card is synchroed, you get to equip a Magistus monster from your extra deck to this card. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters with the same card type, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link as a Magistus monster card in your spell and trap zone. If this card is in the grave, you get to target a Magistus you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon it back. So it's just ways of being able to lock your opponent down from being able to equip this with a Fusion monster, an Xyz monster, a Link monster. The only thing you can't equip it to unless you play 2 Zorora is a Synchro monster. So when cool tunes come around, you might want to consider another Zorora. For the Xyz, we've gone with the Renola. So detach your material from this card, special on a Magistus monster from the deck, but you are locked out of the extra deck except for summoning Magistus. While this card is equipped to a monster, you get to target an effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of the turn. Then for the links, we're on 2 Artemis, one that you might actually summon through the route of play of your Alistar, but then you'll mainly want to utilize it for its equipped effect. So if another Magistus monster is normal or special while you control this monster, except during damage step, target one of those monsters and equip this card you control to it. While this card is equipped to a monster, you get to add a Magistus monster from the deck to the hand. Only use each effect once per turn. So just being able to search out your Magistus monsters is insane. And then the final one is the one Endymion, the Crescent Magistus. So if this card is link zoned, you get to target a Magistus monster you control and equip it with a spellcaster from the grave or banishment as an equip spell. During the main phase, quick effect, target a Magistus monster card in your spell and trap zone, treat it as an equip spell, return it to the hand. You can only use 1 effect per turn, but the idea is that this allows you to link summon it, and then you get to equip something like an Artemis to one of your monsters, and then get a search off the back of it as well. So it's a very good roundabout deck. I like what it does. I feel the Shadows are definitely... Shadows are a bit of a weird one, and what I mean by that is you get the most advantage out of Shadow Fusion when you go second, but you also get the most lockdown and control when you go first, because you've got Window to control everything, and Schism as well. And I'm not entirely sure whether I want the deck to be like go first in that scenario, or if you'd want it to be like a go second option, but it does give you a little bit of flexibility to do as and when you really please, to be honest. And that's pretty much it for the entire profile. Again, something that I did a Magistus profile way back when, and I've done an Invoked profile pretty consistently. But now it's time that the two come together. And I can't wait for the new Invoked cards as well. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing to see what they can do. And I think this is going to be really exciting going forward. It's definitely something that if you're a fan of Invoked or a fan of Shadows, or just the Magistus and the way that they work together in general, it's a really fun deck to put together. Now, it's not going to go and topple the meta, and it's not going to be as good in something like a Draco Tails when you can utilize stuff like the Spenta. But just being able to play this hybrid can be something really, really fun. I'm just waiting for the point of where it could be utilized in Genesis. But the issue with Genesis is one of your most important extra deck cards is unfortunately a Link in the form of Artemis, and you can't use that. But to play this in Genesis, the closest you can get is you play it with the Spirit Charmers. And I've already done a profile on that one, and that's really fun as well, because you get ways of searching out the Zorora, and then the Zorora can become your summon, and then that's everything else you need in between. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.